Arlington Public Library Board of Trustees meeting of Wednesday, the 22nd, 2020 to order. We have a consent agenda. Do I have a motion to pass the consent agenda?
Moved.
Seconded.
Is there any discussion? It is nice to see we're still getting donations.
Yes.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. Nothing from the public that I have, or I assume none of us has. And now we'll go to Kate, the Assistant Director's report, please.
Okay, on page 10 of your packet, you'll see a resolution from the Ohio Senate from Stephanie Kunze, our Senate representative. And this was a total surprise. It just came in the mail a few days ago. She was recognizing us for our Passport Facility Award for 2019. So we were excited to get it and just wanted to share that with all of you. Unfortunately, we are still not able to offer passport services at this time because it's a high touch kind of thing, and it's a big source of revenue. But passport services in general, they are slowly working on bringing back the nationwide service. It's still woefully behind and all that kind of stuff. So we're not ready yet, and they're still not quite ready yet, but at some future meeting, I hope to announce that we can do so. If you turn to page 11, wanted to share this with you. Normally, we would have a lot of opportunities in the summer for our students age 6th grade to 12th grade to earn service credits. I know that's a service learning is the term at the schools. And since we can't have any volunteers in the building right at the moment, we still wanted a way to be able to offer some sort of opportunity. And so the youth department came up with the bingo scorecard. And so it's really service projects and things that they would do to earn their service hours this summer. And then they will be able to complete the sheets. We'll just have to take everyone's word for it this year. And then we will issue letters for them to show that they completed X number of hours of service. So we were excited to be able to at least do something, because we do rely on our volunteers so heavily, and we do provide a large source of hours, especially over the summer. And one other thing what wasn't on our agenda, the Battelle study has issued more results, and the round 2 is recommending a 96-hour quarantine instead of 72 hours. So we and OLC recommended that too. They just sent out something today. So unfortunately, when you return items, it's going to take even longer. So don't worry if they're still in your accounts. So I just wanted to mention that as well. And there's still other phases of the study yet to come. So thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kate. Any questions? Anybody?
No.
Okay. And then we'll turn to Beth.
Thank you. And thanks, Kate. I had that on my,
I
I was like, I'm glad she said something. I had to make sure I remembered to say that. We are going to, like Kate said, we're going to be quarantining things for 4 days. Chris Minks in marketing, her and Alex had put together some slips to put in the books for patrons when they come to check out their items, just to let them know that we're going to, when they return their items, we're going to be quarantining them a little bit longer. So I did send an additional piece of information. We had stopped doing circulation statistics in our board packets ever since this happened. You know, we weren't circulating anything. There wasn't really anything to report at that time back in the spring. But I did want to provide you with a few pieces of information as far as circulation. One is our circulation by month. Even though we're only open and doing curbside at main library, and our branches are not open, we're down 52%, which seems like a lot, but considering that all of our items are being done via curbside and people are not able to come into the library to browse items, I still consider that a significant amount of circulation for what we're able to offer right now. And considering that we're not even open until 9 o'clock, we're only open until 6. So our staff are doing an amazing job and patrons are still utilizing the library very heavily. E-circulation is up 66%. So we have a lot more items that are being checked out digitally. And our Wi-Fi sessions were only down 18% for June, which is sort of shocking to me. So I don't know if Greg can speak to this as far as people using our Wi-Fi in the parking lot or.
So I dug into those numbers a little bit because I thought that was a pleasant surprise as well. And it's actually the Miller Park location is doing about the same amount of Wi-Fi business as it did a year ago. And I think one of the things we can attribute to that is, nice weather. So I think people have been sitting outside the benches out front and in the park, and the changes that we made fairly early on to augment our Wi-Fi reach outside wherever we could. So certainly I could still tell folks at the branches in particular, you see the occasional, laptop propped on a dashboard or something like that. So it's obvious that that's still a very valuable service to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Yeah, good.
I'm muted. Did someone have a question about Wi-Fi or anything? Oh, okay.
No, I was just going to say, if and when school starts, you may have more of that as well, I would think, maybe.
Yeah.
At least while the weather's nice.
Right. Yeah, at least while the weather's nice. So speaking of services and extending services, we know that Governor DeWine had announced the creation of the various levels, the health advisory levels for every county in Ohio. And we took the opportunity to mirror our services along with the levels, just to kind of give us a sense of strategy for moving forward. What services can we provide, based on what level our county is. And this is also going along with the other libraries in Lake County as well. So I had shared all that document with all of you. There are some things that we haven't shared that document with the public just yet because there are certain things that may change depending on staffing. Like if we decide to do curbside at the branches, that's more of a staffing issue than it is, a safety issue. So we'll have more information regarding that. And as far as staffing, we are planning on bringing the rest of our furloughed staff back in August. The one thing that we have realized is that due to COVID and other extenuating circumstances, we have quite a few staff that are not returning, which is that is affecting our ability to plan ahead and try to figure out, what hours the library will be open. So we've sent out information to the rest of our furloughed staff, asking them to contact our HR manager to let them know their availability to come back in August. We're meeting next week to discuss, how the rest of that plan is going to work. But I did want to let all of you know that we will have all of our furloughed staff back in by the end of August. At least that's the plan. I always have to say that.
Does
So,
that mean that the branches would open or not?
so right now we're Kate Albers and Pam Cole, we're all working together, us and the branch managers, to try to decide what kind of services we'll be able to provide at the branches when we have staff that come back. So we'll have more information definitely next month about that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The only other thing that I had on my list was the resolution for diversity and inclusion. That is on page 15. I wanted to bring this before the board. A lot has happened in society and even in our own community, and we wanted to reaffirm the library's stance on diversity and inclusion. Public libraries, we provide equitable access to all people, and we want to make sure that everyone in our community, our patrons and our staff, we're just reaffirming that resolution.
Okay. Any questions about the resolution? I guess I should say, do we have a motion to pass the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I do think it's a great thing for the library to do, Beth. So thank you all for thinking about that. we take it for granted. And I think most people do, but it's still a good thing to have our voice out there. Okay, if there are no questions or no more discussion, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, Beth. Next, we have the Finance Committee. Lori, are you going to take off with that?
Start. Well, today I did receive some good financial news. The Library Services and Technology Grant that I applied for was approved, so the library will be receiving $3,000 that we can use for personal protection equipment such as sanitizer, masks for our staff. We can also purchase plexiglass, storage bins for materials. We can also get signage for our curbside service, and you can also use it for modular furniture to promote physical distance. We have up to a year to spend this. It's not good for those purchases that we've already made, and we've certainly purchased a lot of storage bins, but that doesn't mean we're not going to need more. So we're going to meet to decide what we're going to spend this money on. So that is something good.
Great.
Also, I've received tax advances of a little over $300,000, and I've put that into Star Ohio so that we can earn some interest while we're waiting for our final settlement in September. So that's all I have. Any questions, concerns?
I just appreciate that you found the grant and applied for it, Lori, you and Beth, and I'm sure that will help us. So
Lori, you said that June we got, I see in your report, unless Kevin's going to talk about that, we got more money than expected.
Yes.
And what do you think that portends for the future?
Well, I think what we receive in August will also be higher because of the taxes due. So I think we benefited from that somewhat in our June. So we'll see what we receive in August. And then I think September will be a sign of where we're going to be for the rest of the year once the tax collections are done and there's no other closures and Ohio can continue to operate. I'm hoping that it'll be steady for the rest of the year.
Okay, thank you.
all right, Kevin.
Yeah, so the Finance Committee met last Wednesday on the 15th. And we did go over the financial results, and yes, they were better than expected, largely due to the Public Library Fund. We talked about the budget for next year, although as you can see, it's a little bit challenging to try to budget in this environment, but we're starting that process, and we'll continue to do that over the next couple of months. And then we also talked about the levy. And the way it stands right now, we've got sort of two choices. One is May of 2022 and the other is November of 2022. We're looking at past levy results depending on time of year that those went. And it actually turns out that most of our levy activity has been in the May election cycle, not the November election cycle. Going back, I think to, what was it, Beth, 2004? How far back did we go with that?
It was, 2004.
Yeah. So we're kind of, pointing towards that for now, but obviously no final decision has been made on that, but we are kind of starting to talk about timelines and the planning process for the next levy.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Any questions?
No?
If not, Operations Committee, Peter.
We met on the 7th, it was a short meeting, 11 minutes. And I think that actually is 2 minutes.
He runs a good meeting.
Yeah, I think it was 9 minutes, actually. I'm not sure how it is that Allison got 11 minutes. But we talked about the reopening strategy. We talked about the governor's executive order concerning staff that may qualify for unemployment. Beth had mentioned that the PLF was down for 4% for July, which is better than we expected. We reviewed the draft of the resolution of diversity inclusion that we just passed as a board, and then looked at that special recognition from the Ohio Senate. And then we promptly adjourned and then ran, not walked out of the room.
As
With
I
our mask
remember, it was
on.
due to my windows being down and it was thunderstorming outside.
That's
Right.
right, that's right. Okay, all right. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Peter. And, you know, I don't really have anything other than, you know, I continue to get people saying how much they appreciate what we're doing at Curbside. And I really would like to commend Kate for the walk around she and Chris Minks, I think, did. It's great, you know, it was a great little promo for the library, I thought. You know, there have been a lot of good things on social media, so I do appreciate, you know, what all the staff is doing with that. Chris and everybody else, I'm sure, has some part in that as well. You know, it's a good thing, and I think people are very appreciative, and I mean, they are eager, I think, for things to be open and more available. But you know, I think they do certainly understand. So again, I just would like to thank all the staff, because I know it's not always been easy. Any other comments or thoughts or questions? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in
Keep
favor?
up the good work. Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Good. Everybody's good. Any opposed? The motion passes. Well, that was a pretty quick meeting, guys. Thanks, everybody.